Brett, watching AG Barr go on out there and now accuse the FBI of spying. Remember, he's head of the Department of Justice. He's accusing his own department of spying on Trump campaign, calling this entire investigation a witch hunt and all this stuff. He's clearly running interference for them. And I want to make sure I point out something. If the Democrats would have put the articles of impeachment on the floor the minute they discovered he lied under oath, that this would not be happening. And the longer that these Democratic leaders just hem and freaking haw and allow him, because they're depending on it. The Republicans are depending on it. That's why they all came out and said, well, you better hope. I hope you do impeach him. Hope you do. Hope you do. They were trying to scare it. Look, they want us to impeach him. They must not. We better think about this. Get some public opinion polls of what moderate Republicans think. And that is what the Democratic, the leadership is. If they would have just, you have AG Barr lying under oath to Congress, impeach him. Impeach him and throw him out. That is your right to do as Congress. And this is, if this was a reverse situation and the Republicans were doing this, not only would the Attorney General would have been gone within 3 days, 3 freaking days. A Democratic Attorney General, if he had been caught so bold-faced lying to Congress, would have been removed from office within 3 days. I guarantee it. But not only that, but they would also, if they had a Democratic version of the Mueller report against a Democratic president, the question wouldn't be whether that Democratic president was going to be resigning. It'd be when at this point. And yet, I have watched, and I get it. I remember back when they were voting for the leadership, and I had these people like, Nancy Pelosi's the best. She's the best. She's milquetoast. She looks at public opinion polls before she does what's right. This is why I like people like Governor Walz, Governor Dayton, Amy Klobuchar. Why I like, Joe Biden. I like Barack Obama. They did the right thing. They didn't sit there and say, okay, let's get 17 focus groups ready to go and get 150 different bullet points from each one of those, focus groups. And then let's digest that and have a big roundtable symposium on what we really think people want us to do. And then let's ask Republicans what they think and get their input on this, because we shouldn't be putting a stiff arm out there. Dear Lord, dear Lord, dear Lord, the longer you guys hem and haw on this is a no-brainer. Impeach the Attorney General. He lied under oath. You caught him dead to rights. He is now openly mocking Democrats when he goes up on Capitol Hill. And it's just disturbing. Like when he went up there and says to Nancy Pelosi, he's like, do you have handcuffs for me today? And Nancy Pelosi's response was, please don't kick sand in my face again, or else I might start getting mad at you. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer all need to go. They all need to go. And I get it. We'll give the liberal side of the Democratic Party a platform. They're not going to do what's right. They're going to do what they think gets them elected. And as long as they are more betrothed to campaign donations, to what is best for this country, there is no integrity at the leadership positions of the Democratic Party in Congress, period. And the longer they sit and twiddle their thumbs and say, do we or don't we? I mean, sure, he lied, but maybe we should just try to win everybody over with an effective, energy policy. Maybe we should do that. Energy policy, that's a real winner. I don't think we should impeach anyone. Jesus, dear Lord, I don't know. I don't know. How can you be screwing this up so badly? I mean, seriously, how can you be screwing this up so badly? You have enough right now to get Trump out of office.
Day one, when they took the House, it shouldn't have just been Barr or whoever else was the AG. Kavanaugh should have been gone on day one when they took over the House.
With the Kavanaugh already being seated and for the length of time it was, I would open up the investigation into the allegations again and actually have a full investigation. But the reality is that Nancy Pelosi, and we saw this with the economic collapse of 2008, and we saw this with the Iraq War. when they took charge, their mentality is, let's leave bygones be bygones and move ahead. And a good chunk of that is that they're afraid that these big corporations that support them won't support them as much if they go after the Republicans. That's their fear. And so they're more concerned about what the big corporate donors are doing as opposed to what's doing right. And once again, the reason why Democrats look weak is because of crap like this. This milquetoast, weak-kneed, Dashiell Gebhardt type of leadership, like, well, they said they're not going to kick sand in our face after the 15th time, so I think we should trust them that they're not going to do it. The Republicans are depending on the just horrifically inept response by the Democratic leadership. They are banking on it. They are banking on it. And it does not surprise me that the Democratic leadership, the Democratic Party, the brightest signs of the future of the Democratic Party have come at the expense of the current Democratic leadership. At the expense of them. And, you know, the reason why people turn to the Republicans is that even though the Republicans are horrible human beings, and they really are, the Republican politicians are truly horrible. I mean, they're just god-awful people. They're only in it for themselves. They're only, trying to get their either campaign donations or a lobbying gig afterwards. They could give a rat's caboose about even their own constituents that voted for them. They're just horrible people, but because they're committed to being horrible people, they look like they have freaking some level of integrity. You know, Nancy Pelosi and the rest of these fools are sitting there, well, let's go get another 17 focus groups ready to go and just get their input first. I mean, our cartoon president, if you've never watched it on Showtime, there was a brilliant sketch they did where it was Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer trying to come up with a bumper sticker campaign for them, and they just couldn't do it. And it ends up being this 500-word long slogan about inclusivity and, open minds and brave hearts and all this stuff. They just can't do it because they are just too damn in love with the sound of their own damn voices. They're so desperate to have their Mr. Smith goes to Washington moment where they can march into the sunset holding their head on high, that they are not concerned about actually doing their damn job.